Okay, just a short little video here to show using NeoPixels on a Raspberry Pi, or more correctly the WS281X. I'm only using 16 LEDs here, so I am actually going to power them off the Raspberry Pi. Do be aware you do not want to power any more than 16 LEDs off the Pi. You'll want a separate power supply or overload the Pi. Now the power supply is actually coming off the 5-volt pin, and I'm having my data being controlled off the 3.3 volt pin 18 PWM pin. This particular LED does have two sets of ground. It has a ground for the data pin and a ground for the supply pin to make it easier to have a separate controller and power supply, but most of the strips don't. You'll have to run a common ground. Now, I did have a little bit of fun getting this to work on my current Raspberry Pi Zero, mainly because it uses the same path as what the audio uses. I had to go into the config.txt file and turn the audio off before I could actually get them to work. So I don't have my own libraries for the NeoPixels. I have some really nice libraries written for the APA 102s because they're a little bit easier to use for the Raspberry Pi, and that's mainly what I use. But I have downloaded the ADA Fruit Strand Test.py, right, and we'll give that a bit of a run now. The only modification is I turn the brightness down a little bit, right? And that's the ADA Fruit demo program that they made, or test program they like to call it. It just runs through a little bit there. But you can see I'm not using any level shifters. I'm powering it with the 5-volt power, and then I'm using for the data just a straight 3-volt. And when you read the data sheet for the LEDs, you'll find that they need to have 5 volts to power them, but they are quite happy to be switched anywhere. The data input pin is voltage anywhere between 0.5 of a volt and 5 volts, so they're quite happy to run that way. Oh, now a nice little demo running through. But like I said, do be aware that you have to play around with your audio and make sure all your audio is turned off, or you won't be able to drive the NeoPixels. And it is my personal recommendation, if you want to drive these wonderful RGB LEDs off the Raspberry Pi, that you use the APA 102Cs. They are far easier, far more flexible, and you can run them straight off your SPI bus.